and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all keeping well. So for today's video, I thought it would be really nice just to sit down and to share some hair care tips. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, being in lockdown, I have used it as an opportunity to double down on all things self-care. If you follow me over on Instagram or if you've watched any of my other videos here, there's kind of a running theme, and it's, you know, taking care of ourselves, slowing down. One of the big kind of beauty things that I've been focusing on while I've been in lockdown is to really nourish my hair and to try to get the best health for my hair possible. Now, while I'm not massively focused with actually growing the length of my hair, I know that when you do have healthy hair and healthy scalp and you're taking care of it, it's going to grow quicker anyway. So it's kind of an offset to taking care of your hair. So I thought in today's video, I would bring together my top 10 hair care tips that I have either been doing for years or things that I've recently learned in lockdown that I have been implementing. And some of them I honestly think are absolute game changers. So maybe there are one or two things on this list that you've never done before. Maybe you'll learn something new. Maybe you do all of these already, in which case, fair play. So I have my little notebook ready here. I even have highlighted some of the main points and I've broken them down into 10 specific tips. So these are going to be things that are going to nourish your hair, strengthen your hair, condition your hair, even nourish and condition your scalp, and just help your general hair health overall, which of course will result in your hair growing quicker as well. So let's get started. So hair care tip number one that I've been doing is weekly hair masks. Now you may have seen me mention this in my previous vlog, but I like to do at least once a week a really gorgeous hair mask. I really do think it makes a huge difference. So what I've been doing, and I feel like I've gotten it down to a really good routine at this point, is I'm doing at least once a week, sometimes twice a week depending on how often I'm washing my hair, but I'm doing a 3-mask hair mask. I basically go in with the Olaplex No. 3 Hair Perfector first. This is such a good hair mask. I'm down to about here, so I will be repurchasing it soon. Yes, it is a little bit on the pricey side, but it is worth the money. I'm sure if you're interested in hair care, you've heard about this guy before. I will of course link it below. It is amazing. So what I tend to do is I take a small amount, you really don't need much, and I focus it on the front and sides of my hair. So I kind of get it around here because these are the places that take the most heat when I heat style my hair. So they're usually the places that I want to give the most TLC to. And like I said, this is a powerful mask. Apparently it repairs the bonds in your hair. It's something that really can reverse a certain amount of damage, which not a lot of other masks can do. So whilst I would love to put this all over my head, I feel like my full head of hair probably doesn't need this much of an intensive, you know, nourishing situation. Then I go in with my oil and I use this at the ends of my hair. Now, you can use a lot of different types of oils. They're just going to really nourish the ends. What I'm using right now is the Moroccan Oil Hair Treatment. This is really good. Again, a little goes a long way. Now, this isn't just to be used as a hair mask. You can actually use it in the ends of your hair after styling as well. But I'm finding it works really good for a leave-in treatment as well. Then I go in with a cream-based mask that I put through the lengths of my hair just to ensure that it is completely covered. So what I use for that is the Moroccan Oil Intense Hydrating Mask. This is so lovely. If you can see here, I have really been enjoying this. It's about to run out soon. I'd say there's maybe 2 to 3 masks left in this, but it is a really good product. But again, you can use other types of cream hair masks. You might have something in your bathroom already that you've not been using. So I feel like now is the time to whip out those hair masks. And again, you may have seen this in my previous self-care vlog, but I'm basically just twisting the ends, putting it into a loose kind of ballerina style bun, kind of to the bottom of my head, something that's going to be really comfortable. I can pop a cap on over it if I'm going out for a walk, and I'm just leaving that in basically all day. Now, if you really don't want any kind of greasy look up here, you can always just put the mask on the ends of your hair and then leave the rest of your hair as is, and then you can pop it in its bun. So no one's really to know that the back of your bun, you know, is full of oil or hair mask. So that's another option if you really don't want any kind of slick situation up here. Maybe you're doing meetings or online classes, you know, you can also get your hair mask in without people knowing. So on to tip number 2, and that is to switch to a microfiber hair turban. So this is what the microfiber hair turban or hair towel looks like. Really doesn't look like much. Mine actually has like tan and makeup on it. I need to give it a good scrub. When I get out of the shower, I will pop this on my head, wrap my hair up in your standard hair turban, and I will leave this on while I finish my skincare, maybe while I'm making a cup of tea, checking emails. You could even do your makeup routine while you have this in. And what this microfiber towel does is it takes like the heavy wet out of your hair. And then that also means that you're using less heat to dry your hair overall, which is a good thing. Another reason why microfiber hair towels are so good for your hair is because, as you can see, they're made of this plush microfiber material. It's almost like fleecy, whereas the material that regular towels are made up of, it is supposed to damage the hair follicle more, and apparently it can cause tangling and possibly breakage as well. So it is better to not rough dry your hair with a towel, but to wrap it up in one of these and let it dry. That's going to take all of the wet out of it while not damaging it. So tip number 3 is to reduce the amount of times per week you are washing your hair. Recent studies and expert advice are saying that the longer you can prolong washing your hair, the better it is for your overall hair health, and that you can actually train your hair to not get greasy in between washes. So apparently the ideal hair washing schedule is once per week. I wash my hair twice per week. That tends to be the average. I used to wash it more frequently, but I did start to push it back, and now twice per week seems to be perfect for me. It is supposed to be a lot better just to wash once or twice per week if you can, and then maintain it throughout the week by doing things like using dry shampoo, by, you know, tying it up in a certain way and maintaining your hair so you're stopping it from getting greasy and thus, you know, not needing to wash it as frequently. So tip number 4 is scalp massages, and this is something that I have only started doing recently. Apparently a huge part of healthy hair and healthy hair growth is healthy scalp. Scalp massages can be anything from a massage that you do yourself. What you can also do is you can use one of those handy little scalp massagers. You may have seen this in my recent self-care haul, which was one of the first videos I posted, but you basically get this and you run it in circles and it feels so good. You can leave this in your shower, and when you're shampooing your hair you can work it in circles. So this does live in my shower, and I've been trying to do that. I feel like every beauty YouTuber has mentioned castor oil at some point. It is a wonder product. Castor oil is usually associated with growing your eyebrows and your eyelashes, and I actually do use this every single night for my brows. It's so handy. Now I have to say, I have not done an overall scalp massage with this because it is very thick. This is thicker than average oil. It's very gloopy. So what I would do is I would put castor oil on my fingers and I would rub it in those areas. And I've seen from a few different YouTubers and people who've done it that if you have areas, let's say if you're experiencing hair thinning or hair loss in a certain area, or if you just have breakage and damage, I think lots of us have baby hairs around the frame of our face from heat damage, that something like this, if you do it regularly, if you get it into your, you know, maintenance routine and your hair mask routine, that it really does make a difference. I'm at the beginning of the journey. I've only been doing the castor oil edition for a couple of weeks now, but I think it is going to be good. So tip number 5 for lockdown hair care is to feed it from within. And I know this sounds like such an obvious one, but really for your skin, for your hair, for every part of your body, all of that health starts from within. Eating things that are rich in protein, rich oily fish, nuts, avocados, eggs are really good as well. But another way that you can really nourish your hair from within is by looking at supplements. There are specific supplements that you can get that are specifically targeted for strengthening your hair. Some of those supplements come under the whole skin, hair and nails category, which is perfect because you're just going to benefit all of them. I take things like biotin. I also take skin omegas. I know things like fish oils are amazing for your hair as well. Obviously staying super hydrated is really important as well. This bottle actually does help. I definitely drink more water with it. I will link it in the description. I've mentioned it so many times. I call it my stunning water bottle. And of course all the other products that I've been mentioning will be linked in the description below. Tip number 6 is to pick yourself up a good wet brush. If you'll excuse the absolute state of this hairbrush, what makes the wet brushes so good is that they don't have super dense bristles. It really gently brushes through your hair. Other brands that are brilliant are tangle teasers. They're like the handheld kind of ones. They're just really, really good. They're not very expensive and they do make a difference. So if you haven't made the switch, they're very, very good. Tip number 7 is kind of like a follow on from hairbrushes, and that is to upgrade your hot tools. My go-to styling for my hair is to have a soft wave in it, and I can really only achieve that by using heat tools. So I recently started using the DYSON Corale, and oh my gosh, it is absolutely amazing. It is such a handy tool. It's basically a cordless straightener, but you can use it for so many hairstyles. I basically use it to really gently wave and curl the lengths and the ends of my hair to give it that kind of natural, almost blow dried look. And I actually use this as well to tame my fringe. Now I know that mentioning heat tools in a roundup about how to take care of your hair might seem a little bit counterintuitive, but actually if you are investing in really, really good quality hot tools, they're going to damage your hair far, far less. So if you're someone who does use heat on their hair, and often we can't avoid it for work, for life, for me, for filming, I will always be using some sort of heat on my hair. Having a tool that cuts the damage that much is really, really important. Now, if you're interested in seeing more about the DYSON Corale, I have had it for about 2 months now, and I do feel like I've gotten to grips with it and how to use it to style my hair. So if you would like to see a more in-depth video on exactly how I use it, the process, the review, you know, if I feel like it's worth it or not, then just let me know and I will get to that in a different video. Okay, so tip number 8 is following on from talking about hot tools, and that is to reduce the amount of hot tools that you're using. So if, like me, you are using heat tools and you're heat styling your hair, you know, for work, or if it's just something that you really, really like to do, try to maybe reduce that a little bit. So for me, when I do heat style my hair, I'm obviously using my heat protection. That is just a no-brainer. But what I'm also going to do is when my heat style is done, I'm obviously going to be using really good hairsprays and good products to maintain the style and keep it for as long as possible. So that brings me on to tip number 9, which is damage-free hairstyles. If you are someone who is wearing a really tight bun or a tight ponytail every single day in the same spot, you are inevitably going to get damage and breakage in that spot. And you know, people can even experience hair thinning, hair loss, bald patches from doing the exact same tight hairstyle. So to offset this, there are certain ways that you can tie up your hair or keep your hair out of your face without damaging it or breaking it. So some of my favorite things to use are these handy dandy clips. I know they're so trendy at the moment, but they're really handy, and you just have to like whip your hair back, whip it around, pop it up, and you're clipping it. And again, you're getting all of these different points of contact, so you're not pulling on one area. Invisibobble have made an Invisibobble scrunchie. So it's a scrunchie, but it's with the spiral thing. So this is great for doing like a loose bun at the top of my head for when I go to sleep. Another reason why I think these are great is because if you do it properly, you can often maintain the curl in your hair and get way more days out of your hairstyle. So there is a little bit of trial and error involved. It's hard to get it right all the time, but I tend for the most part to be able to keep my curls by sleeping in a certain type of bun. So tip number 10, and the very last tip in my hair care roundup, is to switch to a silk pillowcase. This is something that some of you might have done already, maybe you've heard about it before, but really the benefits for not only your hair but also your skin, anti-aging, all of that jazz. Not only is it supposed to be incredible for keeping your hair silky, it stops it from tangling, and they're just really comfy. Like, I love the cool feeling of a silk pillowcase. I just find them so comfortable to sleep on, but they also have that added beauty benefit. So I feel like it's just a no-brainer to just switch it out. Like I said, you don't have to spend the earth to get a good quality one. I will link some in the description below. So there you have it. There are 10 of my top hair care tips that you can use during lockdown to nourish your hair and your scalp and get it in the best condition possible. Like I said, some of these I've only started doing recently, some of them I've been doing for a really, really long time, but I would love to know what your hair care tips are. Are there any things that I'm missing out on? Is there anything I should be doing? Please, please, please let me know in the comments below. I would love if you would share your hair care tips so we can all learn from each other. And like I said in the beginning, there are so many other hair care topics that we could talk about, so if you you would like to see my full product breakdown of what I use, how I style my hair, how I wash my hair, or if you'd like to see some of those no heat hairstyles, if you want to see me test them out, do let me know in the comments what you would like to see and I will get working on it. If you liked this video and you'd like to see more lockdown beauty videos, then please do give me a thumbs up to let me know. And if you have not already, then be sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every single week and I would love to have you back for more. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next one. Bye!